Welcome to a bonus episode of Caucus After the Fall podcast. In these bonus episodes, I will be speaking with my friends and talent on the process of creating the characters for the podcast, and also how they feel about, the characters that they played and how it relates to what's going on in the world today, now that it's 6 months later in 2025, and also about the projects that they're working on. And now, with no further ado, we're going to be speaking with Ian Lyons, Michelle Aguillon, Naheem Garcia, and Rena Maliszewski. I'm here with Ian Lyons. We're just going to talk a little bit about
your
Caucus.
birthday.
Yes, which is every day except for February 29. That's the only day is not my birthday. I eat a lot of cake. It doesn't show, but I do eat a lot of...
Like me and my Pop-Tarts.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now's not the time for open minds.
No. This is a closed mind podcast. Actually, this is what this podcast is now called. One of the things I really enjoy about always working with you, and I've worked with you, as a producer, director, actor on many different things, and you bring so much to the table. What was your experience with the process of creating your character?
As creator of this whole world, you gave us so much backstory, details, your reasoning behind every piece of information within this booklet that you gave us, or a couple of booklets. So really creating it was just kind of getting to know the material and finding that person within myself.
So there was the world book, but there was also some bullet list points that we had that we kind of went through to create that story. Were there some moments where you, as an actor, felt like you could bring something to your character that wasn't something you had prepared for because of the conversation we were having?
So there was all this information. I just wanted to make sure I had enough of it in me to kind of provide to you. But following your lead and your natural ability to kind of engage with the person opposite you made it much easier and more, I think, realistic for me as the performer and just trying to imagine this world.
There were some very beautiful moments where you would say something and then, we would crack up, but then we would both figure out in tandem how to take what we just had and build something into the relationship between William Deshane and the producer, like when you offered the beer or, even what you said about the beer. Those were wonderful little moments. Tell me about what you saw in yourself in William Deshane.
At the center of it, he's a person with good intentions. He has a maturity that I do not have in real life. Everything he does is, at this point, because he's just trying to do the right thing, and he understands that this, what's going on in the world, and the Northern Imperial that he's from, it's not really for his interest or the interest of people in general. So I think in that sense, I relate to him. I like to think I'm a decent person and I want to do the right thing. And I'm discovering and learning how to be a better person every day, a lot through the DEI work that we've done and through this podcast, just knowing you. That sounds super cheesy, but a lot of what worked well here in doing this podcast is, I think, the camaraderie that you and I have, and that comfort and that absurdity, which maybe doesn't come across within the recording, but I think it helped to build that confidence to do this work. And I think it's just trying to do the right thing is how I related to him.
I'm here with Michelle Aguillon, and she played Akane Ashikaga, the chief of the Eslo, if you will, that was kind of separated from the rest of the segregated states of America. Michelle, getting to know the character and the history and reading the world book. So tell me about that process.
Yeah. Well, I have been doing improv-based work in some acting gigs that I've had in recent years. So that skill set really lent to this. So when I got the script from you and you told me I didn't have to memorize anything, but use it as a solid framework, it was easy. I was like, oh, yeah, I could do that. Also, the subject matter's very close to how I'm feeling and thinking anyway. It was fairly easy to kind of jump off that and play, with your character and not have to be letter perfect on the script.
Yeah.
And you allowed that, which was great. You allowed a lot of play.
It was a lot of play, a lot of experimentation, a lot of starting over. Like, oh, let's try it this way.
Ooh, I forgot about that, but that
Yeah.
was really nice too. It made it more relaxing. Like I don't have to get it in this take. We could just start over and learn from that first take or, you know.
It's supposed to have a documentary feel, the authenticity in the moment of how you respond to what the producer was acting lends it to sound more like we're in the moment and we're having a discussion in real time.
And you established that, which was really cool because it made me feel immediately comfortable to do the work. And it didn't feel like work.
How did you feel about the amount of information that was in the world book? I know it was a lot.
So I thumbed through it several times. Someone records all of it for us so that we could be driving along or walking or doing other activities and we can just listen to the materials.
What I loved also very much is sometimes we connected in a way that is outside of the story, but more to do with who we are ethnically, culturally.
I
And
felt a lot. Yeah.
yeah, it was great to share our Filipino heritage. And I think I've shared,
Formally, but yeah,
yeah,
but we were really riffing. Like we were just spitballing that. That was,
yeah,
yeah, sharing food and
yeah.
experiences, but you also shared a lot of your family history, which always
Mm,
fascinates me that you can
yeah.
go as far back as you can because a lot of us can't.
That's very true. That's very true. And Caucus After the Fall is not revisionist history. It's revisionist future.
Yeah, good way to put it.
Instead of science fiction, I call it social fiction. I am here with my friend Naheem Garcia. Hello, Naheem. How are
Hello,
you?
hello, my friend. I'm well. I'm well.
What did you think about the process of putting this together?
The fact that you gave us enough material to look at, to think about, put ourselves in that world, think about what that world is, exist in that world. The guidelines helped you to improvise. I mean, you got to be good at improv. That's the bottom line. All the actors you have are top-notch actors, actors that could do improv and that could think on their feet. There's a lot of times we had to just say things and do things, but we had to live in the world. So you provided us with enough material to be able to do enough research of our own and use our imagination. It's the way we migrate and move through the world. First of all, for me, it was also connecting historically to my family. I'm Cuban, but I was also raised in a Guatemalan Cuban home. So there was that South American influence. My mother and mom both married men from Guatemala. So there was this big influence of cultural smashing, Caribbean with South American and with a dash of Central American, because Lord knows what they bring from their background. Just because you were born in Guatemala doesn't mean that your people weren't from El Salvador or somewhere central. You know what I mean? So that's, I came as an immigrant. There's a difference. There's a process. And my family went through the process and we were allowed to become citizens of the United States. And, but I also had to leave a lot behind. Each character had to leave a lot behind and a lot of memories behind. And some memories, after a while, get diluted, mixed, and tampered with. They start to become something else.
One of the things that's missing often in our world as entertainers, as performers, in the media, producers, actors, is the recognition of our talent, regardless of what we look like, regardless of our ethnic background.
When you introduced this character to me, Ricardo, and I'm looking at Ricardo, and I'm thinking about every Latin man that I've experienced, every Latin man from every level, every Latin man that was beautiful, every Latin man that was mean, every Latin man that was nasty, every Latin man that did whatever he had to do to provide for his family. These are the things that I brought to the character. So when we say, here's all this information, I mean, it requires some reading. You just can't assume it's going to fly. You got to read. You got to listen to this stuff. You got to feel this stuff. And you gave us enough time to go back and forth, but you also made it easy. You didn't stress us about, no. Just be in the moment, be in the world. As long as you're in the world of it and you've done your research, it'll come out. And from what I've heard, and I listened to every show, everybody brought it. And everybody lived in it.
Yeah.
So when I look at it, it's like, wow.
Hello, Rena.
Hello, Taya.
You played the chief of Homeland Eslo, the Homeland District. Tell me about the process that you went through to create your character for Winona Redfeather. Maybe talk a little bit about the world book that I provided you with and sort of the interview documentary style recording.
When we first embarked on this journey together, you had prepared a really in-depth and informative and interesting world book about the project, which allowed me and I believe all of our cast members to delve into a world that was very different from the world we live in, and yet with some unfortunate similarities. By going through the book, it allowed me to understand not just my character, Winona Redfeather, and Homeland, the district that I was chief of, but also to learn about the other districts, the other characters, and the overall traits of each of those districts and personalities. And I think it allowed us to understand one another and also the objections and thinking and mindset and fears of each of the chiefs and how that related to our own world and our own character. And also maybe a little bit of our own personal experience or opinions as well as people.
Did you find there were moments during which you had some kind of deep feelings about who you are ethnically and your cultural background and the practices, cultural practices that you grew up with, that you felt you wanted to really make sure they were embodied in Winona Redfeather?
When I read about Chief Winona Redfeather, there were obvious similarities from a cultural standpoint. She is an Indigenous woman. I'm an Indigenous woman. And our ancestry and our living experience were from different parts of the country. There was a shared understanding of some of her experiences, priorities, and history. So that allowed me to, I think, understand her on a very basic level as an Indigenous woman and want to honor who she was, at the same time factoring in who I am to be a vehicle to help make that happen.
It's a huge part, I believe, is missing in entertainment. It certainly is about time that we make sure that actors who are not typically cast because of the stereotypes and the archetypes that are built into much of the engine of Hollywood, are given a chance to say that, speak their mind.
Chief Redfeather had experienced so much personally as a child. Her family had been directly impacted by being forcibly removed from their land and relocated. That was kind of a very understandable experience for an Indigenous person to fully grasp and understand. That immediately helped me begin to think about her experience. Every Indigenous person is aware of repercussions and trauma and outcome for generations because of those actions by the government.
Next, one by one, we're going to talk about Caucus After the Fall and their characters and how it somehow kind of matches what's going on today in the United States of America. I wrote this decades ago.
Before there were paved roads. It was a while ago.
It was a rubble, I think. Basically, I had to hunt,
Yeah.
for rabbit and raccoons, I think it was.
Your carriage got caught in the salt flats and you
Yep.
almost good times.
It was
Which has informed who you are today. Yeah.
it was before a lot of the pushback against the kind of work that, causes people to even want to hear this kind of story today, right? Especially the last 3 weeks. And, currently it's February 9 of 2025. So I think most listeners, no matter when you listen to this, I think you'll know what's happening right now in the United States.
And you've seen that in real life right now, how people are becoming okay with a level of hate because they think, oh, that's, what my leaders are doing. So maybe they're right. It's terrifying.
Just asking you, just generally, Ian, are you making the right decisions on this particular day?
Yeah, I'm buying 4 Teslas. It's a terrifying time.
It's a terrifying time. Having worked on the podcast and representing what would be termed today as the privileged, even though your character stated in the episode clearly your experiences were not privileged. You were in the underrepresented class within the so-called privileged class, the assumed to be privileged class. Given what's going on today in the United States and even pushing out through the boundaries to other countries, what kind of impact do you think your perspective as William Deshane, the character, has on how people are listening to what's going on to America today?
Regarding this character and how he was kind of forced into, not even forced, he was willing to do certain things before for what he thought was the right reason at the time, or that he had no other choice than to commit these crimes against, immigrants or whatnot. I think it's important for people now, if who are in this early stage of when this character was doing bad things, they have a moment to step back and go, wait a minute, is what I'm doing actually right? Let's compare this to myself 10 years ago. What I think, what I'm doing, and what I'm saying, are these correct, interactions? I mean, is this right? Like, do I feel good about what I'm saying? And I think right now people are getting so far, they've become so comfortable with a level of hate. Just on Inauguration Day, Elon Musk doing the Nazi salute, like, the people, some people are questioning, did he do it or did he not? He didn't apologize for it. He didn't try to clarify. He did it. It's not right. And I think people are becoming too comfortable with the level of hate in the world.
It's easier to have blinders on or to have blinders put on you than it is for you to try to figure out a different way to, look through different lenses and see what the world is about. In reflection, and given what's going on today, what are you feeling about the story? How does it connect with you emotionally?
Nothing surprises me anymore. And of course, this project kind of echoes where we could be heading, which is scary, of course, and maddening. There are times in a day it will level off and I can become rational and think, okay, what can I do now, immediately? Because when I think about this story and where they are, where those people are, where that society is, it's scary to think that we could possibly head the same way.
We do tend to find comfort with each other. And the affinity that we have with each other can be predicated on many things. In the case of Caucus After the Fall, it's particularly race, even though, as we learn through the story, that race is a nebulous concept, right? Given that the story is somehow matching what's going on, how do you, as a empathetic, insightful, intelligent human being, how are you moving forward?
Practice DEI, stay educated in those concepts and practice them every day. That is my goal here. This is what I can do. This is what's in my power to do for as long as I possibly can.
The recent turn of events must have affected you after being the person that wrote this many years before it manifested. That's a little Nostradamus kind of thing going on there, right?
Well,
and it could be a little spooky, and then it gets really scary because it's
scary.
Like you're starting to say, wait a minute, this stuff is starting to really happen. This stuff is really going down. I am in this world, and this is happening right before my eyes. Does anybody else see it? Then you start to say, wait a minute, now you got art imitating life, or life imitating art.
Yes.
But you're not going to convince me that it's okay to take away Black books and Black history and wipe away different people's culture. You can't tell me if somebody else feels different that their existence is dismissed because you say so. The stress alone of being in, you don't know if you want to walk by somebody and they want to chop your head off. You say good morning, somebody doesn't respond. These silos that we continue to put up, man, I could go on and on and on a Sunday. You know what I mean? But hey.
I think I'd have to say one of the biggest things that I've been thinking about is the rounding up of people for deportation, for being forcibly removed. And that has been largely done, as far as I can tell, by removing people of certain races or a certain race. Historically, we have seen forced removal of people, indigenous people, whether it's the Trail of Tears, Japanese people. We have seen people removed, rounded up and removed historically. And it is staggering to think that in 2025, we are seeing families broken up. We are seeing children afraid that their parents are going to be taken from them. That is happening right now in 2025. And we have seen that before, and it's just terrifying that it can happen even now.
And finally, we're going to talk about what they've been working on these days in television, in film, and on stage. What are you, Ian, the actor, my friend, the actor, doing today? TV, film, stage, whatever, videos.
I recently had a Law and Order where I played a doctor, and then there was this Lisa Lifetime movie where I played a doctor. But the things I'm most excited about, there's a movie called Imposters where I play an evil dad. Typecast is that guy.
I know. I love it.
With me
It's
doing
like
that.
dentists giving candy to their patients.
And the other movie I'm excited about is called Shattered Ice, where I play the father of a young man who takes his own life. So it's a very powerful drama. Oh wait, I have a podcast too.
Yes, you do.
It's called The Ejectables.
And we will be doing season 2, working on the framework now, and so look forward to working with you again on season 2 of Caucus After the Fall.
No, sincerely, I'm very honored to have been a part of this and to have this. Obviously, our relationship is very special to me, but to have been a part of this and to be included in something so meaningful in this very wacky time, which I hope is just a time that we get past.
You are also an actress and a director.
I'm working on Yellowface by David Henry Wong at Footlight Club. And, has a special guest, our friend Michael Toe.
That's right.
I'm an arts administrator. I run arts, music, and theater. The arts shows us who we are as human beings in these different ways. We need to express ourselves. We need to connect.
All right. Well, have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
What are your big projects? What should we expect to see you on stage, on screen?
Money Games is about to go on to Amazon Prime and Tubi, doing some post work for At the Sea with Amy Adams. So we got to record some stuff, and I guess they're getting ready to shop that and put that out. And then I'm getting ready to film Thickly Settled, Brian Jones and his partner, Jordan. And I am getting ready to go to Western Massachusetts and film for a week on this beautiful movie. Those are the best ones because that's when you really get to be an actor and really be in that moment.
Well, thank you so much, Naheem. Rena, what are you working on these days? What can you help us celebrate?
I just recently worked on Law and Order, which is a series that's had a 24-season run. And I just worked on it on an episode where I portrayed a doctor. So my character was someone who empathized with her patients who were trapped in their bodies and felt as though their time here was coming to an end. And so that was an interesting episode to be a part of. And then I have another series that I worked on, The Walking Dead, Dead City. And that is a second season of that series. And it's going to be coming out hopefully sometime late spring, early summer 2025. So I'm looking forward to that.
It's such an honor to be to be in your presence as a fellow performer. So thank you for continuing all that great work.
We have a remarkable cast of some very talented people who are involved in so many different types of projects, and you included. And so it's wonderful to see what all of us have been up to since we've last worked together. And I'm excited to see what happens with everyone's projects and also with Caucus Season 2.
This was a bonus episode of Caucus After the Fall podcast. We look forward to having you join us for Season 2. Please go to entertainingdiversity.com/media for more information on Ian Lyons, Michelle Aguillon, Naheem Garcia, or Rena Maliszewski. Please look at the podcast notes. Thank you for listening.